Thank you for joining me for this yin practice where we'll move slowly and just take some time to drop into the body, luxuriate a bit, and just take the luxury of time to practice. So we'll do this class with a blanket if you want one. It's optional, and the idea is just to give your body some cushioning and some lift where you need it. And start out just sitting on the blanket if you wish to, and find a comfortable seated position. It can be anything that supports your own body. Close your eyes and allow your attention, your awareness to come to your breath, so that your breath is not only an ally during your practice, but a connecting point away in to observing the relationship that you have with your body, your mind, your heart, your spirit, and yes, your breath. So as you bring your attention to your breath, allow yourself to simply feel this moment without trying to change anything. Sometimes we sit on our mat with an experience of judgment, wanting things to be other than what they are. Judgment of our body, judgment of our thoughts, judgment of anything and everything. So in this practice of sitting in the absolute lap of luxury of your practice, allow your practice to simply be what it is. Allow your body to simply be what it is. Allow your eyes being closed to be an opportunity to gaze at your internal mirror, the internal mirror of awareness, the internal mirror of acceptance. And you may notice in this stillness things start to shift or move or simply come into the forefront. Continuing to allow them to be whatever they are. Whatever your experience is of and in this moment. And throughout this practice, we'll keep returning to awareness. We'll keep returning to attention. And we'll keep returning to acceptance. And with that in mind, in body, in heart, in spirit, slowly open your eyes, allow yourself to unwind from whatever sitting position you're in, and start to come into a straddle. And you can continue to use the blanket underneath you for support. Sometimes it's nice to raise the hips a little bit. And in the straddle, you can be as wide or as narrow as it feels appropriate to your body in this moment, without needing things to be anything other than they are. And I like to start out by bringing the heels down and lifting the toes and imagining the feet moving away from each other, remembering to practice with the body you have right now, not the practice of some imagined ideal. And then you can start to rock yourself, walk yourself, move yourself forward. And even as you take your hands forward, see if you can continue to relax the shoulders. See if you can continue to lengthen the front of your spine. See if you can bend your elbows. See if you can allow your legs to become heavier. And maybe you even relax the feet a little bit. And so from here, you may find that wherever you are in this moment, that it might serve you better to walk your hands a little bit further up. You might find that it serves you better to walk your hands a little bit further forward. It doesn't really matter. One of my favorite things about yoga practice, particularly when we enter a yoga practice in this manner, in a more yin or softer style, is this. There are many right answers. So, where you place your hands reflects that. There are many right answers. And in a yin practice, it's less important how far we go than how much we can simply be in our body in this moment. How much we can relax the shoulders, even the legs. How much we can cultivate a sense of ease in this experience of luxuriating in the moment. And as you breathe, you may notice yourself continue to soften, continue to relax, continue to let go, continue to be in the moment. You may notice your breath shift. You may notice your shoulders continue to relax. You may notice yourself soften. You may notice different thoughts and experiences or even judgments arise. Whatever arises, simply bring your awareness and your attention to it. Just notice. Another of the great benefits of yoga practice is to simply learn to be with all of the fluctuations. And as I'm in this pose, I notice that, there's things that shift in my feet a little bit, in my legs a little bit. Maybe I notice the length in my spine. And throughout the practice, I am less concerned with how much I'm stretching than with how much I can just allow myself to be in the moment, to feel suppleness, to feel ease. As though I am luxuriating in some soft silk velvet blanket and just dropping in. And then on your next inhalation, slowly, slowly start to use your hands to walk yourself up. Remembering that wherever you were in the pose, it took some time to get there, so allow yourself some time to shift. And you may notice your feet kind of wiggle in and out. You can stretch out through the toes. And then still in this straddle, we'll move into a side stretch. So go ahead and take your right hand out to the right a little bit. You can keep it on the floor, you can bring it onto the mat, you can take your hand to your foot if you want to. And then go ahead and inhale the left arm up. And maybe you just reach the arm straight up for a moment. Maybe you reach the arm overhead. And maybe you take the hand down to the leg. Maybe you keep your hand on your hip. Remember that there are many right options. there are many opportunities to answer yes. There are many right answers. And as you move into this side stretch, see if you can continue to drop the left hip. What sometimes happens is our whole body wants to roll with us to the right. So feel as though the left hip were weighted down or dropping down. That the whole length of the velvet blanket is on the left hip, the left leg. Maybe you have your right hand on the leg, maybe you have your right hand on the floor. And then see if you can drop your right ear toward your right shoulder. You can even drop the left hand. You can relax the neck and the jaw. And see if you can feel a sense of spaciousness, of length in the left side of the waist. See if you can feel a sense of spaciousness, of ease in the jaw, the face, the eyes. And then on your next inhalation, slowly come up and use your right hand to create a sense of support as you slide yourself back up to center. Pause for a moment. Simply notice your body. Notice your breath. Notice the quality of the energy of the movement. And then start to roll, stretch, bend to the other side. So maybe you start out with the left arm on the floor. It can be behind you. It can be close to you. Maybe your right hand comes to your hip. Maybe your right arm reaches up. Maybe your right arm is overhead. Maybe your right hand coaxes your right leg to drop down, reminding your right leg that it is wrapped in a warm, soothing blanket. Maybe your right hand reminds the side of your waist to lengthen. As you drop the head, drop the jaw, relax the face, relax the eyes. Maybe feel the breath in the right side of the body, the rib cage, the waist. And as you're in the pose in a yin style practice, there's small adjustments we're making. Not necessarily because we're trying to get deeper into the pose, but I think because sometimes we're creating more space, more suppleness, and even making more room for self-acceptance. Relaxing the jaw, the face, the eyes. Maybe your head drops a little bit more. Maybe your right leg drops a little bit more. Maybe your right shoulder drops a little bit more. And then on your next inhalation, use your left hand to start to bring you back up to a seated position. And you can just take a moment and notice yourself in space. And then still in the straddle, although sometimes it's nice to take a little bit of a break and roll through the ankles and stretch the feet and bend the knees and wobble the legs. And we're going to come into a twist. So maybe you bring the legs closer together or further apart or leave them where they are. It's totally fine to weeble and wobble. And then coming into a twist, we'll take the left hand over toward the right leg. Maybe you take the hand to the foot. Maybe you take the hand to the lower leg. Maybe you take the hand to the inside or the outside of the leg. The right hand supports you. And as you inhale, feel the front of your spine lengthen, and at the same time, drop the left leg. Feel the shoulders descend, and gently move into this combination of twist and side stretch. Allowing your breath to facilitate the experience of creating more internal space. What should we do? What will we do with that internal space? You may be asking yourself. We will allow it to be filled with self-acceptance, self-awareness, a sense of ease in the body in this moment. So whatever micro adjustments we make of continuing to drop that left leg, continuing to drop the right shoulder, continuing to allow the upper body to experience the twist. All of this is about cultivating a greater sense of spaciousness. A greater sense of suppleness. And on your next inhalation, slowly start to use your hands to walk yourself up. So it's almost as though your spine is weightless and it's just carried along. And then after coming up to center, start to rotate toward the left leg for the twist. The right hand can come anywhere to the lower leg. The right hand can come to the foot. The right hand can come to the floor. And the left hand, either on the mat or the floor, offers a sense of support, a sense of length. And then moving with the breath, feel yourself create more length as you rotate into the twist. The pose is simply a vehicle for cultivating this relationship with the body, the breath, the mind, the heart, the spirit, all of the aspects of ourselves. And we make adjustments and micro adjustments in the shape to facilitate this experience. And keep dropping the right leg. Keep allowing the body to gently rotate. The shoulders gently soften. And then on your next inhalation, use your hands. It's as though the spine were weightless and we're just lifted up by the movement of the hands, taking yourself back to center. And then rotate the ankles, both directions, stretch through the toes, wiggle the feet, bend the knees, and take your hands to your knees, and we'll come down onto our back. So you can continue to use the blanket for support if you would like to have some support beneath your spine. And if you do that, please unfold the blanket so it's beneath both your hips and your shoulders so you don't get any kind of cricks in your back because the blanket is pressing up against you or you're feeling the edges. So the idea here is we're removing all the hard edges. We're wrapping ourselves in warm blankets and we're coming into happy baby pose, bending one knee, taking a hold of anywhere on the foot or the leg, bending the other knee so both knees drop out to the side. You can rock a little bit side to side if you'd like to. And again, sometimes we feel a sigh of relief, a sense of ease, a deepening of the breath. And then coming back to center. So from happy baby pose, keep your right leg where it is, and then release the left leg. And your choice of either left knee bent, left sole of the foot on the mat or the floor, the earth, or left leg extends. Remember, there are many right answers. And you make the choice based on what feels the most easeful in your body. So we're in this half happy baby, left leg extended or left knee bent. And we're going to release the right foot and hug the right knee in toward the chest and intentionally roll the right ankle in circles. And then roll the ankle in circles in the other direction. And then shake out the foot a little bit. And then we're going to take the knee and roll the knee in circles. So what we're moving is the hip joint, this experience of the hip joint. And then we're going to take a couple circles in the other direction. And then taking the knee back in toward the chest, extend the leg up, hold anywhere on the leg, maybe even press the leg away from you just a little bit. Flex and point the foot a couple of times. And then come back into half happy baby pose. Right knee drops off to the right, right sole of the foot faces up toward the sky. Another option is to simply draw the right knee in toward the chest, but drop it slightly off to the right. So instead of the knee being in the center of the chest, it's kind of in that spot between the chest and the armpit. So either option. And remember, the left leg can either be extended or knee bent. And if you're thinking to yourself, I just don't remember all of these options, remember that there are many right answers, and the criteria for how to make the choice is this. How do you feel a greater sense of ease in your own body? What do you feel supports your ability to imagine that you are wrapped in a soothing blanket, comforting and comforted? And then from whatever position you're in, take your right knee back into your chest. Take your left knee in toward your chest. And just rock a little bit side to side. And then take the sole of the right foot down to the mat. Your choice, either sole the foot on the floor or leg extends. Happy baby on the left. And just hold here, pause here for a moment. Feel the hinge of the jaw relax. Feel the back of the head drop down into the mat. And then draw the left knee in toward the chest and start to rotate the ankle in circles. So you're wiggling the toes, stretching through the sole of the foot, and then move in the other direction. Shake it out a little bit, and then we'll rotate the hip in circles, imagining you're drawing circles with the knee. And then other direction. And this movement of the joint just facilitates our ability to do what we're going to do next, which is to come back to half happy baby pose. To give ourselves some breaths in whatever version of this shape works for you. Paying attention to the suppleness of the tissues. Around the inner and the outer thigh, the glutes, the hips. These are some of the largest muscle groups in our body. And we're just simply bringing our awareness and our attention here. And then we'll slowly start to bring the right leg into happy baby pose to match in some way the left. Maybe you draw the feet away from each other a little bit. It just changes the experience of the shape. And then we're going to take the sole of the left foot onto the mat, taking the right ankle to the top of the left thigh. See if you can flex the foot for a version of threading the needle. And you can stay here, or you can drop your knees in toward each other. You can hold one hand on each leg. You can allow the shoulders to just drop into the mat. You can take your right hand between the leg, left hand around to the side. If you are holding the legs, keep relaxing the shoulders. As we allow ourselves to feel a sense of ease and to luxuriate in our practice. We also want to make sure that we're not adding tension into one part of our body, thinking that we're somehow serving another. Thinking that going deeper into the pose means turning ourselves into a very convoluted or pretzel-like shape. I believe that going deeper into the pose means creating more space, cultivating greater ease, becoming even more relaxed. Allowing for more space for breath. Continuing to relax the shoulders, even if you're holding the legs in some way. Maybe your feet even start to relax. Maybe you even notice your spine dropping down into the support of the blanket, the mat, the floor, the earth beneath you. And then slowly unwind if you're holding your arms. And then we're going to take a version of sleeping pigeon twist. And what I'd like you to do is take the sole of the left foot down to the mat and cross your right thigh over your left. Drop your knees in toward your chest and then drop both knees to the left. And maybe your right arm comes out to the right just a little bit more. Maybe your head looks straight up at the ceiling. Maybe you look to the left. Maybe you look to the right. There are lots of right answers. And just allow your breath to be the focal point of the shape of this twist. And it doesn't matter so much if you hold the cross of the legs, my legs separated a little bit. It's more about just the general sleeping pigeon inspired twisting shape and the sense of space that we can cultivate, facilitate, be with around the low back, around the spine, around the glutes, around the hips, around the outer thigh. And if you notice that you're gripping or holding tension in any part of your body as you're in this shape, feel the luxurious ease of the breath. Connect to that area and encourage it to release, to let go, to lengthen, to feel softer, to feel more supple, to feel like silk gliding through your fingers. And maybe you adjust a little in the pose. Maybe your shoulder drops. Maybe your arm moves. Maybe your head moves. Maybe your feet shift. And take a deep breath, inhale here. Exhale, engage your abdominal muscles. And it doesn't matter how you roll back onto your back, but just roll back onto your back. And you can rock a little bit from side to side. Both your knees can be bent, your legs can be on or off the floor. And as you rock from side to side, simply experience the breath, the body, your awareness in this moment. And coming back to center, take the right sole of your foot and allow it to be connected to the mat, the floor beneath you. Take your left ankle to the top of your right thigh. For this first part of thread the needle or sleeping pigeon, lots of names for this, you can stay here with the right foot on the floor. This is a perfectly good pose. You can pick the foot up, you can drop your knees in. This is also a perfectly good pose. You can take one hand to each leg. You can take your left hand between your legs, your right hand around to the side. You can clasp your hands. Whatever choice you make, please make sure that you can still relax the shoulders. Please make sure you can still relax your feet. Please make sure that you can bring your attention, your awareness to your breath at the same time that you allow your spine to descend down into the blanket, the very earth beneath you. Continue to feel the face relax, the jaw softens, the eyes soften. Notice what adjusts. Notice what shifts. Remember that deepening the pose does not mean perfecting your pretzel impersonation. Going deeper into the pose may be practicing your skill of awareness heightening your attention. Creating more space, maybe even feeling a sigh or two of release or relief. Maybe you yawn, and maybe you cry, maybe you sit still. There are many right answers. And deep breath, inhale here, and exhale. Release your hands in whatever position they are in. Take the right sole of the foot to the mat, cross your left thigh over. So just a slight shift in this, threading the needle, just to move into our twist. And then pick up the feet, drop both knees to the right. Adjust what you need to adjust. You can shift the hand. You can look in any direction. You may want to notice if the position you're holding your head causes you to hold more tension anywhere. If so, see if you can shift it to release that tension. Maybe your knees are twisted, maybe they fall apart. Continue to experience the breath. Continue to allow this shape to be something that encourages your own internal suppleness, your own internal ease, your own internal experience of dropping into awareness, attention, practice, perfection. Allow yourself to yawn, to sigh, to breathe, to be. And you may notice the experience of this shape in the back, in the shoulder, in the outer hip, in the outer thigh, everywhere, nowhere. And on your next inhalation, return your attention back to your breath. And you may want to draw your knees in, exhaling using your abdominal muscles, rolling back onto your back. Rocking side to side, feet on the mat or up in the air. Notice the experience in the internal body from the held pose. And then as you come back to center, slowly roll your knees into your chest and rock and roll from side to side a little bit more intentionally. Feeling a different experience of the action of the twist. And then coming back to center, rolling over onto your right side. Take your hands and just press them up for just a moment. And we're going to come face down. And again, it's nice to use the blanket for some support. So go ahead and roll down. So you're laying face down. And then go ahead and take your right arm out to the right. We're going to do a twist around the shoulders. So right arm out to the right. Palm of the hand can be up or down. Elbow can be bent or straight. With your left arm, you're going to bend the elbow, take the palm of the hand down to the mat, and slowly start to roll toward your outstretched right arm. Now you can fold the blanket if you need a little bit of extra padding underneath your head or under the shoulder. Your left arm is for support. Your legs can be extended, or you can bend one or both knees. Sometimes it's nice to bend the left foot or bend the left knee and take the left foot to the mat for support. And then if you can, drop your head. Allow your attention, your awareness to come to your breath. And you get the opportunity here to modify the pose into a shape that is appropriate for you. So you can roll forward, you can roll back. I learned this pose as pigeon with your arms. And this is the kind of thing where doing more does not necessarily mean more benefit. Sometimes we can get more benefit from doing less. Remember that there are many right answers. And in this practice of understanding that there are many right answers, allow yourself to simply be in the pose and the shape. Feel the hinge of your jaw relax. Feel your eyes soften. Adjust yourself in the shape in a way that feels right to you. I personally love this particular pose, this shape. If I've been spending a lot of time on electronic devices, counteracts that use of the body, of rolling in, of typing, of texting. And take a deep breath, inhaling here. And as you're exhaling, slowly start to roll yourself so you're face down again. And you can just pause for a moment. You can bend your elbows, you can wobble your feet, you can wiggle. Just giving yourself time to be in your body, to counterpose yourself before coming into the other side. And to set up for the other side, take your left arm out to the left, bending your right elbow, taking the right hand down. And slowly start to roll yourself toward your outstretched left arm. Remember, it's okay to rotate the hand so the palm of the hand faces up. It's okay to bend the elbow. It's okay to fold the blanket if you need a little bit of extra support. It's okay to move your hair out of the way. It's okay to adjust your feet in such a way that you're supporting the shape. And just allow yourself in this shape the luxury of time. The luxury of time to simply be in the pose without having to have anything in particular happen. The luxury of time to simply notice the body, the relationship that you have with your own breath, heart, spirit. Continuing to allow yourself to simply be in this shape and slowly transitioning by pressing down with the right hand, rolling out, allowing yourself to be in the transitions, giving yourself the luxury of time. And then you can rock a little side to side. You can bend your knees and roll your feet side to side. You can wiggle your shoulders. And then using your hands and curling your toes under, press up and back to child's pose. And it can be nice to use the blanket again for padding. This too is a luxury to remember that we can allow the body some softness, some ease. So in child's pose, take a moment and extend both arms out in front of you. Notice the experience in the body in this moment. Maybe you notice the way the breath moves through the back of the body. Maybe you feel the shoulder blades lift up as you inhale and soften as you exhale. Maybe you feel yourself extending out through the arms a little bit more. And on your next inhalation, rock up onto your hands and knees. You can have your hands on or off the blanket. Allow your knees to be supported, to be softened by the blanket. And moving through a few cat-cow stretches, inhale, draw the heart forward, the shoulders back, the gaze slightly up. And as you exhale, I like to curl the toes, pressing up. You can move your hands as you need to. Your hands can be on the blanket. And see if you can press up between the shoulder blades. Inhaling, heart forward, shoulders back, drawing the chest forward. Exhaling, rolling up. You can move your feet. You can keep them flat. And continue this for a few more breaths. After some of the held twists, it's a nice thing to take some of that movement of energy, of flow into the breath. So just do a few more like this, rolling cat and cow, stretching in both directions, noticing the movement, the suppleness of the spine. And do one more like this. And then come back to center, back to neutral. Widen your knees just a little bit. And sway the hips a little bit from side to side for a little bit of a transition. Feeling the quality of the body. And then we're going to thread the needle in another shape. So go ahead and slide your right hand underneath your left shoulder. Change up your blanket if you need any additional support. You can take your left hand and bring it on the floor for support. You can bring your left hand to your sacrum or to your low back. You can roll your left arm behind you. As you move, see if you can drop your head down into the mat. See if you can feel your breath move through the back of your body. See if you can relax your jaw. Now again, here it's perfectly acceptable, especially in a long practice, to sway a little bit, to adjust a little bit, to experiment a little bit, to find stillness, to find suppleness, to find the breath. Deep breath, inhale here. Moving on the exhalation, use the left hand for support. Press up. Come into child's pose again, this time with the palms of the hands facing up. Sliding the hips back. Noticing the experience of the breath around the shoulders, around the spine. And then on your next inhalation, rotate your hands down. Come back up onto your hands and knees and just do a couple of cat and cow movements, observing the internal body, the quality. And then coming back to neutral, back to center, setting up for threading the needle on the other side, planting the right hand. Go ahead, adjust your body as you need to, and slide the left hand underneath the right shoulder. Drop your chin. Your right hand can stay on the floor, on the mat. You can wrap it behind you. You can come into any version of a twist. In whatever shape you're in, see if you can experience more of the breath in the back of your body. The luxury of a long practice, of spending time moving through a variety of shapes, provides us the opportunity to cultivate greater awareness. To direct and redirect breath. To practice the skills of relaxation, of letting go. Breathing deeply. And then press down with your right hand. Use your right hand to press yourself back up. Sway the shoulders a little bit, sway the hips a little bit. So we're back in that hands and knees, tabletop position. And then give yourself a couple luxurious cat-cow movements. Moving in such a way that the breath creates the movement. Sliding back into child's pose one more time. This time pressing down with the fingertips, lifting the palms of the hands, the wrists, the forearms, and dropping the head. And then on your next inhalation, walking your hands in, and then rolling back onto your back. Blanket offers a nice, luxurious cushion, a little bit of support. And coming onto your back, just take a moment to adjust whatever needs adjusting. And notice the length of your spine. And then take both knees into your chest. So it's almost like you're in child's pose, but on your back. And pausing here. And then from here, take both knees to the right, arms in any position, head in any position, shoulders in any position. Allow your eyes to close. And you can even adjust here a little bit if you need to. Both knees can be bent. You can straighten one leg. You can straighten both legs. You're using the different options for shape to serve your body in the practice. Using the different options of shape to serve your body in the practice. Using the different options of shape to serve your breath in the practice. Deep breath, inhale here, exhaling, drawing your knees in, pausing and adjusting in the center for a moment. And then dropping both knees to the left. Choosing a position of the arms, of the head, even of the legs themselves, that serves your body, your breath, your thoughts, your heart, your very spirit. Luxuriating in this time to be in this shape. Allow any adjustments that you make in the shape to serve the needs of your practice, your body, your breath, your heart, your spirit. Deepening your awareness, your attention, your experience of yourself. And take a deep breath, inhaling here. Exhaling, drawing your knees back in toward your chest. And take a moment after that long twist to rock a little bit from side to side. Bringing your attention and your awareness to the action of massaging the low back. And then where we began this part of the practice, where we're laying down in a happy baby pose, bring yourself to that again. Bending the knees, dropping the feet off to the sides. Noticing the qualities of this shape. As we come closer to entering the space of Shavasana, we're taking these opportunities within the luxury of time to observe the experience, the effects, the breath, and the body. And then from happy baby pose, go ahead and extend your legs out to a straddle on your back, similar to how we were in the seated straddle. You can hold anywhere on your legs. So you can hold the thighs, you can hold the calves, you can hold the feet. You can drop the legs a little further away from each other. You can use the hands to support the legs. Feeling the spine dropping down into the mat. So I have a slightly different experience in this part of the practice, this part of the completion, being in a straddle shape. So we're bringing our practice in a way into a full circle of employing the luxury of time in such a way that we're cultivating awareness, ease, suppleness, space, room for breath. And then go ahead and bend your knees. Maybe you just take a moment and rotate the ankles, the feet, even the wrists, the hands, and then the other direction. And drawing the knees in toward the chest. Go ahead and take one leg out and the other leg out. Adjust whatever needs adjusting. Make sure the blanket is supporting you in a way that feels comforting. And allow the feet to drop away from each other. And before you move into the stillness of Shavasana, take a moment and just, with ease, drop the head from one side to the other, feeling the hinge of the jaw relax. And then bring your head back to center. Feel the weight of your head dropping down into the blanket, the mat, the floor, the earth beneath you. Your hands can rest on your body or your hands can rest on the earth. Your legs can drop away from each other. And you might exaggerate your breath or take a sigh or a yawn or some relief, some release, some ease. And allow yourself the luxury of Shavasana, allowing yourself this moment where there is nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you have to do, where this time is the time to support rejuvenation, revitalization, restoration, in the luxury of practice. Knowing it's okay for the mind to wander in Shavasana, to enter the luxury of daydreaming. The spaciousness of your experience of this moment. Allowing yourself the time for a long Shavasana. The time for the breath. The time for your body, for all aspects of your body, to continue to make adjustments and micro adjustments, to continue to shift and release. And as we spend time in Shavasana, we may notice things like a tingling in our fingers or in our toes. We may notice the hands or the feet become heavier. We may notice our breath become longer. We may notice our body drop even more into the support of the earth beneath us. Continue to enjoy this time in the pose. Continue to feel the shoulders descend into the mat beneath you. Continue to feel the legs drop. Allowing yourself time in Shavasana like it is a warm embrace. Sometimes I notice when I give myself a long Shavasana in practice, and I start to experience energy moving through. It's okay to wiggle the fingers of the toes even while you're focused on the stillness. It's okay to notice whatever arises. It's okay to shake or wiggle or move a little bit in service of ease. Continue to feel the jaw relax. And then intentionally start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe rotate the ankles and stretch the fingers out and in, the toes out and in. And take a couple of deep breaths, bringing yourself back from wherever you were in Shavasana, taking this transition, bringing the knees into the chest. Maybe you rock a little bit side to side. Coming to the place of rolling all the way over onto the right side. And then taking a moment and pressing the palms down, using your hands to support coming back to a seated position. Closing your eyes for a moment. Allowing the transition from this practice, from a long, luxurious practice of simplicity, of twisting, of stretching, of breathing, to inhabit your body in such a way that it serves you as you come off of your mat into the rest of your day. To be in your body, mind, heart, spirit, breath with a sense of ease. And then take the palms of your hands together in front of your heart in a gesture of gratitude for this moment, for this time, for this practice, taking it with you into the rest of your day. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste.